Greetings, Voyagers. Well, it's time to start stripping the back of this van out. This has to go. That has to come out because everything that was in the van, the wheelchair lift, the seats, all those tie downs for the seat belts, those all left holes that went through the wood and all the way through the steel body of the van. So those holes have to be filled, have to be plugged, probably have to be have the rust removed. I may have to spray it with some rust converter first. So this wooden floor has to come up entirely, and that's going to be a beast of a job. Look at this. I don't even know what this stuff is, but it looks like some kind of a rack for adjusting the wheelchair lift. Look at that. It's in pretty tough shape too. So it looks like there's 1, 2, maybe 3 big panels that have to come out. This is going to be one tough job. I have to finish taking these plastic panels off here. When I go back to the mechanic on Monday, today's Saturday, so that they can fix whatever the engine problem is. They had it for 3 days. I dropped it off Wednesday morning. They said they would do it the next day, which was Thursday. They didn't. And then yesterday, Friday, I didn't hear. I called. I left a message. They didn't return my call, so I had to have my daughter drive me over there. And they said they had driven the van. And it seems like the problem may either be a weak fuel pump or a clogged catalytic converter. If it's just a weak fuel pump, that's not a big deal. If it's a catalytic converter, it's going to cost me about $1,000, because I know that those catalytic converters cost about $900 a piece, and then there's the labor to replace them. So if it's the catalytic converter, it's going to have to wait for another month, because I don't have the money for something like that. I can pay for a fuel pump, but not for a catalytic converter, not right now. So if I have to wait a month to get that done, that's a lot of time. It should give me plenty of time to work back here. But you know, it's getting cold, and some of the things I want to do, like polyurethane plywood for when I build out the shelves and put the floor in, you know, those things don't work below 50 degrees. Anything like that, epoxy resins and paint and polyurethane, those things don't apply well, or don't apply at all below 50 degrees. And it's in the 50s during the daytimes now, so I got to get a move on with this thing. I'm probably not going to be as detailed in my videos of my build out, because I'm under a lot of pressure for time to get this done quick. Oh yeah, these plastic panels have to come out too. I may keep these though. I may take these off. I think what I'll do is I'll take these off and I'll insulate inside the door and then put these ones back on. But those panels are coming off and staying off. So I gotta get back to work. I'll check in with you later. Alright, so I'm seeing some screws through this plywood. I don't know if I have to take up all these bolts that have the hex, you know, the Allen wrench socket to get them out. I've sprayed them with a penetrating oil because I can't budge them. got my tool in there and they just won't budge. But maybe I don't need to take these tracks out. Maybe there's just more screws holding this in. But there's other problems. Let's see, where did it go? Yeah, right here. See that? That's where a bolt was cut off. The bolt is still in the hole and it's still through the plywood. And then there's another one right there. And there's another one right there. And you can see that rusted bolt coming up through. Oh, and look, there's another one right there. I think probably what I'm going to have to do, this thing is just, I may have to take my circular saw and cut like right down to there, or maybe my oscillating tool with a wood blade, I don't know, whatever, and cut around it maybe, I don't know. It's gonna be a demolition job for sure, y'all. Look, there's another one. I knew it was gonna be a beast of a job. Alright, so I have to get these bolts out. And they have the hex head on them, you know, the Allen wrench type bolts. And I have my little Allen wrenches. I have a set of Allen wrenches, and it's a 3/16. But I'm putting all my pressure on it, and it's not loosening it. So I need to go to a higher power. I need more power. So a 3/16 hex bit socket. Why won't this camera focus? So got that. Got my ratchet. We'll see what happens. I also bought a gigantic crowbar while I was out at Home Depot. I may have to use a crowbar to pry this wood up off the floor. We'll see. Well, it didn't work. It snapped off. Come on, focus, will you? This is my new smartphone. And I don't like the camera. I like my old one. I should be doing this on my old phone. Anyway, it snapped right off. Those bolts are in there real hard. And it snapped the bit right off of this. Trying to loosen it. So this is going to be, this could be a serious problem. I think I'm going to have to go get my circular saw, my cordless circular saw, and set the blade depth to just under 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to have to start cutting this stuff, and cutting it, and then go and edit it with the crowbar. I think. I don't know how else to do this. These things, and there's a bunch of them. There's another there, and there's another one there. There's another one in the back. This is going to be a problem. So here's one thing I have to fix, and I think I need to do this right away. I need the doors open for right now anyway, if I'm going to be trying to take this wood out. But with the doors open, these lights stay on. Look at all these lights. They're pretty. I like them. Look at this. This is the door ajar light. Well, what is it? Is it a door or a jar? So I'm going to disable these. I don't want to try taking the bulbs out. I may try to find the fuse for this and just take the fuse out. But it's going to run the battery down in the truck with these lights on all the time. So we'll see what happens if I try to do this. Yep, and these are the old tungsten bulbs. These things burn a lot of electricity, so I'm not going to try to find the fuse right now. I think I'm just going to start pulling these bulbs out. This thing, it's freaking headlight for a car. That thing's using huge amounts of electricity. So that's gotta go. So look at this. I just noticed this. I'm about to pull this little bulb up, and I'm looking in here. There's a big empty space in here, and that's all insulation. That's all fiberglass insulation right there. That's that fiber board. It's fiberglass insulation. It comes in like sheets, in like boards, and it's all along the top up here too. So apparently this whole shell is a double shell. It's like a double hull, and it not only has some space in here, which maybe I can utilize for storage or something, but it's insulated space. I do not have to insulate the roof. Hallelujah. Might make things difficult putting in a vent fan, a ceiling vent fan, but I don't know. But that just saved me a lot of work, that I don't have to insulate up here. I don't have to insulate any of this stuff. Wow. So there they are. All those incandescent, these are all incandescent bulbs. This one is like a headlamp for a car, and it uses obscene amounts of electricity when you consider what we have today with LEDs. And I don't know if I'm going to replace those lights with LEDs. I'm going to put in my own lighting, 12 volt light strips, that kind of thing. So I'll just put those plates back on and leave them like that. Mission accomplished with the lighting. See, now there's no lights on with the doors open. Now I can go back to work on this. This adhesive that they use to put this coating, this anti-skid, non-skid coating down, is still really tacky, really gummy. My problem is I have to cut it with my circular saw. I have to cut pieces out of it and pry them out with a crowbar. This adhesive is going to gum up the blade. So what I'm going to do is, I have an old blade. I'm going to take the good blade out of my circular saw, which I just got last year, and put the old blade in. That would be my sacrificial blade. I got a lot of work to do. I'll get back to you. All right. Boom, 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 boom. We're in the hood. Yeah, man. We got the big bass going there out in the street, rattling the windows. They got some guy in the neighborhood who comes around at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when it's all nice and quiet, and he turns up his car stereos. He must have speakers the size of his back seat, and it sets off all the car alarms all up and down the street. He just drives around the block with that thing so loud, and that bass puts out such concussion that it triggers all the car alarms, and he thinks that's funny at 2 o'clock in the morning. A little punk.